I do want to ask about the email that Luther sent to the chief and Major Conklin. You said parts of it are uncomfortably familiar related to the Ferguson reports. So what was meant by that?
Okay. I'll start and then Luther can weigh in. We just have a conversation about it.
Sounds good.
I guess I would like to take a step back and
Okay.
say that probably 2.5 months ago with the new chief, we started doing a lot of reviews of policies, of procedures, hired Randy Means, who's a nationally renowned police advisor, to come in and do a policy review. We've done reviews of our evidence room, just had our CALEA inspection, so we've been pretty proactive in trying to examine everything that's going on at the police department. Not that there was a specific problem, we just want to make sure we were doing things the right way. So when the Department of Justice report came out on Ferguson, that's obviously something we wanted to look at. It was a 105-page report, and the interesting thing about that report, I don't know if you've read the entire thing or not, but probably 2/3 of it, is that accurate? Half, dealt with municipal court and just the entire justice system in Ferguson. And two of the things that came out of that report, one was they have an ordinance in Ferguson which is essentially disobeying a lawful order of a police officer. And most municipalities, I know in Kansas and probably across the country, have a similar policy. And the city of Topeka has that same policy, and that's something that we were looking at. So in terms of familiarity, we wanted to look at that policy, how we were using it compared to what was going on not only in Ferguson but across the country. And the second issue is obviously we have a municipal court. So we wanted to look at how does our municipal court operate, and how are we using that to make sure that there's no problems. So it's always uncomfortable when you look at a report, a DOJ report from Ferguson. You want to examine what you're doing to make sure that you don't have any of the similarities in there. And I also think it's really important to understand that over the last 3 years, City of Topeka hasn't had one substantiated racial profiling case by the Attorney General, which I think is outstanding and reflective of our police department, and how different we are from some communities, that we don't have those same issues. So it's uncomfortable because anytime you have a report like that, you want to make sure you're not doing the same things. It's familiar because we have some of the same ordinances. We just want to make sure that we're using them in the right way. So, yeah.
So are the same abuses occurring in the municipal court system that you had in Ferguson?
I don't believe so. I think that we're going to look at municipal court, we're going to look at the police department, we're going to look at every department within the city, because I think the Ferguson report, if you want to use that to its best ability, is you look at the entire city and you say, this is what's going on systemically. Let's make sure we don't have any of those systemic issues. So yeah, we're going to look at municipal court, we're going to look at the police department, we're going to look at the entire city. We don't have anything I can specifically tell you to say we have this same issue that Ferguson did, but we want to use that as a tool to make sure that not only do we not have any of those issues, but we don't have anything that's indicating we're going down that same road. We want to make sure we're doing things the right way.
Okay. Mr. Gagne, would you like to add to that?
The events in Ferguson are extreme. The Department of Justice report, that's something that all cities should be taking a look at and see what they can learn from it and what they can do better. It wasn't the racism from the Ferguson report that concerned me. It was the underlying factors that many cities have in common. As Chad mentioned, we have an ordinance on disobeying a lawful police order. Our municipal court also uses warrant fees. And I think like most cities, our municipal court struggles with what to do with unpaid fines. Those were central issues in that report. The disobeying a lawful police order, stop and frisk, requesting people's IDs. Those are very current issues in law enforcement now across the country. Warrant fees, they can generate revenue for a municipality and create incentives to issue warrants and serve warrants. And the danger is that when that process gets sidetracked and the focus becomes on generating revenue instead of public safety. My concerns were recognizing those things within our own system. The ordinance that we have on disobey and the ordinance that we have on warrant fees. And in my opinion, it was something that we needed to review and make sure that we are doing it the best that we can. And if there was anything that we